Hey tricksters, Patrick here, giving you the 411 on how to clean your butt. Like a porn star, or like any just regular person. Because it's the same thing. If explaining isn't enough for you and you're more of a visual person, you can always go to my OnlyFans page where I'm going to do a demonstration there. Link in the description below. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing with you a super hot douching tip that's going to have you douching like a pro. So if you're not a doctor, or if you're not like totally aware of how the innards work, here's a quick diagram. The red part that you see there, that's where a penis would go. So like the waist would stay in like the white part, and then there's like a little like valvey thing in there that keeps the waist up from the red parts. Most of us don't go walking around with a lot of waste in the red parts. So there's a lot of preconceived notions and people are afraid like, oh my God, I have to douche before I have anal sex. Basically across the board, doctors agree that too much douching is not good. You know, actually douching, the water that's going up there, you're taking out the good bacteria and stuff, the stuff that protects the lining. I know as gays, we are very anal about being clean. So I find that we've tended to start to overdo it. And I am totally guilty of this. You get to know your body intuitively. And if you don't feel clean or that you have to go, then that's actually the first step that you're supposed to do. Take a do, okay? So step one, if you're gonna bottom, is sit on the toilet and try to take a number two. Because if you have to go, you have to go, and your body's gonna know and your body's gonna release, and that's a great first step. Now, if after you've released, you feel unclean, in the sense that you think that there's still stuff there, or you're feeling a little bit paranoid that maybe there is still stuff in that red section that we talked about, that's when we can start talking about enemas. Let's start with the Fleet Enema. Now this kind you can buy at the grocery store, you can find them anywhere. They come, now these are meant as a laxative. So what you're supposed to do if you're constipated is you use one of these enemas and you stick it up, and there's a solution that is supposed to totally evacuate everything that's in there. If you just want to douche and you just want to tidy up in there, you don't need the solution that's in there. So if you buy one of these Fleet Enemas, number one thing to do first is to open it up, dump out all of the liquid that it comes with, and then rinse it out. I like to rinse it out. I like to shake it, really like rinse out, because you don't want any of that chemical stuff to be in there, because you don't want to trigger a diarrhea avalanche. So once you've emptied out the liquid that's in there, then you're going to fill it up with water. I like lukewarm water. Screw the little top back on. Now you want to insert the bottle into your rectum. Maybe you need lube, maybe you don't to do this. A little spit. Might as well just put a little bit of lube on the applicator tip there to make insertion a little bit more comfortable. When you're starting off doing this, it's gonna be uncomfortable, much like anal sex is uncomfortable. Squirting water up there is gonna be a weird sensation that's gonna take some getting used to as well. Usually on the box, there's a suggested pose, which is okay, but there's a few different poses. You can either go on all fours and insert it like that, letting gravity do some of the work, or you can kind of go on your side with your legs like this, which to me, you have a better handle on the situation, assuming that you're doing this by yourself. Or you can just do like a squat and go, like just squat over the toilet, shove it up, squirt it in. You just want to sort of fill up the red part of the diagram. You don't need to clean out your whole insides. You just want to like make that little red part sparkle. Now, whatever position you're in, you're going to squirt that water up there. You're going to hold for about 10 seconds or so, and then you're going to release. So whatever position you do, you're probably going to be in the bathroom, because you want to be close to the toilet, because your body is going to want to get rid of the water that you just squirted up there. Squirt it up, hold for like 10 seconds, and then a release. And now look in the toilet. What do you see? Is it brown swamp water? Is it full of turds and grossness? Is it just clear water that has squirted out of your butthole? You'll know by looking at the toilet if you're good to go, plus if you feel it. Now the trick is, and I had to learn this, trial and error, don't go running out the door. Don't jump on the bed and unlock the door and wait for the guy and tell the guy to come over right this instant. No, no, no. You're gonna wanna wait. Even if the water runs clear, whatever, you're gonna wanna wait like 30 minutes or so. Because you squirted water up there, sometimes it gets into like the lower parts and stuff. It's gonna take some time for some of the water to come down. You don't want to initiate sex right away and then have water shooting out of your butthole like that. Wait, see what happens, and then you're good to go. And you know who's always good to go? My patrons! Huge shout out to my newest patrons, Andrew. Enjoy perks like advanced access to episodes, behind the scenes content, and direct access to more. To become a patron, just find the link in the description below. And let me know in the comments, do you douche? How do you douche? And are you good at it? Actually, I don't know if I want to hear the horror stories. Okay, let's look at a couple more options of douches. You have the Fleet style Enema. These are disposable and you can buy them at the pharmacy. You can also buy these bulbs. You've seen this in like sex shops and stuff like that. These are just the same thing, but they're not disposable. These are reusable. Travel size, of course, there's small ones, they go up to big, there's different kinds of nozzles. So the types of shapes and sizes of bulbs vary. Some of them have really long applicators on them, meant to go much deeper inside for a sort of deeper clean. Which brings us to the next thing. This is like the penultimate of douches, is the one that you would put in the shower. So this connects in your shower. You've probably seen this or heard of it or used one or you have one. You hook it in the shower and you stick the wand up your butt and it uses the pressure of the shower and the water shoots up there. Because this one has a lot of water pressure and you gotta be careful because you can really shoot the water up there and you can hurt yourself. So you gotta keep the water pressure down and be careful of the temperature. You know, you're in your shower, sometimes if you don't get the temperature right. The one for the shower, I mean, is gonna give you a super deep clean, but it's a little bit more, it's not just for anal sex. I would say that the one in the shower is a lot more for fisting and stuff like that, or extreme butt play, maybe huge dildos and stuff, because you're really cleaning out like the entire system. So those are a few of the more popular options. You use them all the same way. You squirt it up, you hold, you release until it's clear. It should take about 2 or 3 times. If it's taking more than that, you've gone too deep. The water is getting right up in there and you're just cleaning out parts of the intestine that you don't need to clean. Okay, let's talk about nutrition. Fiber is very good for a bottom. Metamucil and other supplements like that. The fiber keeps your poo like solid, and a solid poo is always going to be better than a liquidy, loose poo because the solid ones are going to pop out and everything. Coffee is an enema, so don't have like a double espresso just before you're about to bottom. I mean, why risk it? The big takeaway here is to be patient. This is a trial and error thing. Your body is going to change from day to day. You could douche and be great one day, and then the next day it's just not working for you, and that's okay. You really have to like go with the flow, feel your body, be in the moment. Don't stress out, don't panic, and then just be honest. If you had a bottoming session booked and it's just not happening for you, just be like, hey, listen, my tummy's upset right now. Can we do other things or can we reschedule? Be kind to your bottoms. This is very important. As a top, if you're in a situation where you're with a bottom and shit happens, it is never okay to shit shame somebody. I've seen it happen where a top will freak out, say things like, ew, or like pull out quickly and then run to the shower and then leave all mad. That is never okay. As a bottom, if that happens to you, they're already mortified, right? Because nobody wants to have that happen. Unless you're into scat, then that's probably something you should have discussed beforehand. But assuming that you weren't looking for poo in this instance, the bottom is already mortified that something has happened. So don't pile it on top and make a big scene of it and be like, oh my God, ew, or like, oh, that's disgusting, or just, and then give up and leave. I get it. It's not wanted. Nobody wants it, right? But be an adult about it, right? What was one of the quotes? If you go poking around the rabbit hole, sooner or later, you're gonna meet the rabbit. I thought that was cute. Be an adult about it, okay? Don't make it worse than it already is. In fact, make them feel better. Just say, hey, don't worry, it happens, it's okay. Go to the bathroom, clean up, and then let him clean up, and then decide where you go from there. I don't want to hear stories about people that are poo shaming bottoms. Bottoms get enough shame as it is without tops being all like shit. Because if you don't bottom, then you don't know. So you can't have an opinion about it. If you are still here, then you deserve my super hot tip. I don't know if it's super hot, but it is a tip. So, in my experience of douching, when you're douching, it's very wet down there. I mean, you're squirting water up, you're squirting water out, splash, splash, lots of water, right? So your butt gets wet and stuff. So when you take the toilet paper, when you wipe, it's the little particles of toilet paper get left behind on your butt crack and stuff like that because the toilet paper is getting pulled apart by the water and whatever. And so it tends to leave some toilet paper residue, right? Like on your butt. So a nice tip to do is to make sure that you don't have the toilet paper residue, use a wet wipe. Grab a wet wipe and just wipe along there. It'll remove all the little toilet paper residues. Or you can even use the wet wipe instead of toilet paper if you don't want any residue at all. Just use a wet wipe. It's already wet. You wipe. And a lot of the wet wipes are scented. So that's nice too. And hey, if you want to stay in touch with me, you can join my newsletter. Just go to patrickmarano.com, scroll down and sign up for my weekly newsletter. And if you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love this one. And I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!